Hey y'all, it's your girl Rai Rozay, and you are now tuned in to the Miseducation of Gen Z podcast. Class is in session. Hey guys, welcome back to the Miseducation of Gen Z podcast. And today, first, before we get into anything, let's do a little bit of a mental check-in. I always ask how my guests are doing. How am I doing? Today, I am not even gonna lie. I'm a little tired. I'm exhausted, not even gonna lie. It's been a week, but we're here. We made it. We're alive. We're healthy. We're blessed. So that's all that matters. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys are trying your best. And yeah. But something that I always thought was really cool growing up that I never got to experience was seeing those time capsules they do on TV shows with schools. And I was like, damn, I wish my school did something like that. I never went to a school where they even thought to do something like that. But guess what? I thought the perfect way to end the year with y'all is to bring out this 2026 TMOGZ Time Capsule. Yes, this is a very special episode coming at y'all. We are rapidly approaching the end of the year, and I just decided, you know what? What better way to end the year than with y'all? One. Two, why don't we just use this as a time to reflect and go over how the year went? Things that we want to forget, things that we want to look back on, and things that we want to hope for, like things that we want to happen in the next year. So, I thought this was a perfect way to end the year. And yeah, let's get into it. First, let's talk about why I was inspired to do this, right? I'm a little nostalgic nut, if you will, right? So like I love looking back on things. I like reminiscing, like I love it all, right? And I think the point of a time capsule, right, is to be able to reflect and look back at like how far you've come. And I think a lot has happened this year in the world, and I'm sure in everyone's own personal lives. So I was like, I think this is befitting of the year that we've had, you know? But yeah, I think I just wanted to make it kind of a chill episode where we talk about things that we accomplished, things that we learned, and, you know, the things that we want to bring with us into the new year. So first thing that is going in the time capsule are our reflections. So our reflections include accomplishments, highlights, and surprises. So something that I want to put into the time capsule that I accomplished is launching TMOGZ. Finally, y'all know it was a long time coming. So that's something that definitely got to go in the time capsule. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The second thing I want to put in as an accomplishment in my time capsule is breaking my codependency habits that I've had for a while. They started not that long ago, and I noticed not that long ago that I had them, and I got rid of them. So I think that's good. I'm learning to be more independent again. Not that I was never not independent, right? But I think having certain people in my life and getting really comfortable with my friends made me codependent at times on them, like whether that was to go out to like a function or an activity or something. Like if they weren't going, I wouldn't want to go sometimes. Or if I had no one to go with, I would just be like, okay, well, no one's going with me, so I'm just not going to go. And I decided to stop doing that. I decided to just start doing shit that I wanted to genuinely do, whether or not there was someone there to do with me or not. So yeah, cheers to that. Cheers to no codependency, attachment issues or anything like that. Some highlights of the year, right? I think my highlights of this year, definitely seeing Beyonce live on the Cowboy Carter tour. That's definitely number one on the list. I don't care. And if I'm missing something and I think about it later, Oh well, it doesn't matter, right? But yes, Cowboy Carter tour live, like seeing Beyonce live, I think if I never saw her live again, I'd be sad, but I'd be satisfied with what I have seen in this life from Beyonce. You know what I mean? I'm definitely part of the Beehive for sure, for sure. So yeah, seeing Cowboy Carter was an experience for sure. Definitely a highlight of the year. And my best friend took me. Shout out to you, Alexis. And another highlight would be seeing Raven Lene, who I've definitely become a huge fan of this year. She's a great performer. She's a great artist. Her vocals are just out of this world, and I can't wait to see like how far her career goes, because I know she had like a taste of like how big she's going to be, because I know this isn't it for her, right? So yeah, that was definitely a highlight, seeing her live, and that was one of those things that I did by myself. So that was another highlight, going to my first solo concert, right? My first concert was the Cowboy Carter tour. Like my real first actual concert was Cowboy Carter. I've been to like little mini events, but never like a full-blown concert. So that was my first one. My second concert I took myself to, and that was to see Raven Lene, and that was great. So those were definitely two highlights. Another highlight, I would say this, like having these conversations with you guys, these interactions, right? Like having people DM me or comment under the episodes. Like I love seeing your feedback. I love hearing how you resonate with the episodes. Like those are definitely, that's my goal, right? That makes me happy. And it's a blessing to see that you guys are taking in the work that I'm putting in with this, right? One more highlight. I wrote a list, but I was really trying not to look at it. Oh, starting my vinyl collection. Yes, I started my vinyl collection this year. I have about, I want to say I have like 10 vinyls, maybe. Let me see. I have Raven Lene, Cowboy Carter, the double vinyl. I have a Stevie Wonder vinyl, Anita Baker vinyl, Dionne Warwick vinyl, Teddy Pendergrass vinyl, Etta James vinyl. 7. I might be forgetting something, but I don't know. But yeah, so my collection is still pretty small, but I started it this year, and that's something I've always wanted. So I'm very happy with that. So that's an accomplishment and a highlight. So some surprises, like if I were to right now pull Ray from January 2025 to the side and tell her things that she would definitely be shocked or surprised by. First of all, she would not believe how the year played out, right? The year started way differently than it's ending right now. So things that she would be shocked by or surprised by, I think one would definitely be that we stopped going to that therapist. I don't... Do we know why we were gonna? No, you don't know why we stopped yet, but you're gonna figure it out, Ray. But we stopped going to therapy. Not even really stopped. Like we took a break because we wanted to reflect on if this was someone that aligned with us. She did not align with me, and yeah, I found someone better, and I love her. And something else I think Ray from January 2025 will be surprised by is how we're learning to effectively communicate our emotions and express ourselves, right? Because that's something I've had a challenge with doing I want to say all my life, because I feel like I wasn't always able to speak as freely as I do now. And doing this is helping. And then our new therapist definitely has helped us a lot with that. So shout out to her. Something else she would be surprised by is that we're doing TMOGZ alone, because when we started the year, we weren't doing it alone. One last surprise, I think, would be that we no longer have people in our lives that we thought would be there forever. And we're okay with it. We're dealing with it. We're healing from it, but we're okay with it. Some lessons that I want to take with me into this 2026 time capsule is learning to take action, right? So this was a year of taking action, like doing shit without hesitation, delay, making excuses. Like we just took action this year, and that's something I definitely need to take with me into the next year. So we're putting that in the time capsule to remember, like, this was the year where we decided, like, we gave 0 fucks and we did everything. And not being afraid to put ourselves out there, right? So taking that huge leap, especially with doing this, and putting myself out there for the world to see, for my peers and my friends and my family to see, was a huge deal. And I learned that it's okay for me to do that, and I don't have to be afraid of how I'm being perceived, as long as I love myself, right? And as long as I water my mental and I water myself and I'm taking care of myself and I'm putting my all in and I'm proud of what the fuck is going on, it doesn't matter what anybody else says, right? So that was something that we were super self-conscious about. And so we're learning basically not to give a fuck, right? That's a lesson that I'm taking with me into 2026. We giving no fucks all 2026. What do I want to leave behind in 2025? I want to leave behind like my people-pleasing tendencies. I've been a people pleaser for a while and I'm actually sick of that shit. So again, we're not giving no fucks. I'm still going to be a nice person and I'm still going to be, you can't take away the caring nature that I naturally have, right? But I won't go out of my way to make people feel extra comfortable, right? Especially if I feel like it's not being done for me, right? I'm not going out of my way to make you, not to cushion any blows or anything like that. I'm always going to be super thoughtful and considerate, but not to the point where it affects me. So I'm no longer letting me making sure that you feel good affects me in a negative way. Something else I want to leave behind is the spirit of procrastination. I procrastinate a lot. Like I will, and I don't do it on purpose, but I know I have stuff to do and I'll sit there and like I'll drag my feet dreading to do it, and then I'll like come up with 1,000 other things to do before I have to do that one thing I definitely desperately need to do. So that's something we're definitely leaving behind in the year 2025. We're taking away any spirit of procrastination. Like we don't claim that shit. Also, negative thinking. My homegirl Rain, shout out to you, Rain. She says a lot, like the power of the tongue is so important. She just said that this morning, actually. But the power of the tongue is so important, and she's very big on like thinking positively and speaking positively, so it reflects on what's going on in your external world, right? And I wouldn't call myself a pessimist, but I feel like I would label myself usually as a realist because I would just try to normally prepare myself for the worst outcome because I was just so used to things not going the way that I thought things would play out, or things just not going well. And so I think I started coming into this realist mindset, and essentially it was really me just being a pessimist and just thinking the worst before the worst could happen. So I was just mentally prepared for if it did happen. And I definitely want to leave that behind in 2025. I don't want to take that mindset with me into 2026. I just want to be radiating optimism. Yes, I'll still be real, right? But I want to live a little bit in like delusion in 2026. Like, fuck the expectations. I want to meet like delusions. Like I want to be so delusional that shit just has to happen. Like it makes no sense in my mind for it not to happen. That's how delusional I want 2026 to be, but in the best way possible, right? Because delusion seems to usually be tied to this negative mindset of like that would never fucking happen. We're not thinking that way this year. This year we're only saying fuck expectations, and we're exceeding everything, and that's it. So yeah, definitely bringing in more positivity and leaving negative thoughts, negative mindsets. We're leaving all that shit in 2025. Something else I want to leave in 2025 is over explaining myself. Cause it just, I feel like I haven't been over explaining myself as of lately, but I always have that natural want to over explain myself, which ties into the people pleasing thing. But I'm learning to be okay with my reason being the only reason that matters, and me not having to always explain myself. And that's something I definitely want to leave in 2025. I don't want to feel the need. I hate over explaining myself, but I feel like, as a kid, especially growing up with like strict Caribbean parents, like you are constantly hassled and questioned about like whereabouts and things you're doing and whatever. Even just as a child growing up, I feel like we always have to answer to someone. So I think that ties into why I always felt the need to over explain myself. And as an adult, I'm 25, but sometimes it still feels weird to just give my answer without the extra explanation. I'd be like, should I say more? But I don't. Like even now still, I'll be texting people, and instead of saying, normally I'd probably explain why I couldn't go somewhere, and I'd just be like, nah, like, sorry, I can't do X, Y, and Z with you, blah, 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 whatever. And I would normally give oh, I really wish I could because this, that, and the third. I don't want to do that anymore. I've caught myself a few times this year actually over explaining and then realizing, girl, you don't even need to say all that shit for real, and deleting it and just sending no, I can't, or whatever it is. So that's something I definitely want to leave behind in 2025. So some personal goals that I have for 2026, I definitely want to be more bold, right? So I feel like when I step into rooms, I feel like my presence is known, but I really like want to shake the room every time I step in a place in 2026. Like I don't want to shrink myself for anyone or anything. And I just want y'all to know that I'm here and y'all gonna feel that shit. Also just being more graceful with myself, giving myself more grace with things, not being so hard on myself, and being softer with myself, right? So taking better care of myself, doing the things that I love, things that make me feel good, things that are good for me. I want to be more intentional about putting more time into my self-care. I definitely want to work on being more consistent and disciplined. That is something I've been working on the past few months. I think I'm doing pretty good because consistency is something that I've been striving for a while, and I think I'm doing pretty well, but I want to just establish, I think, like a better routine with things as far as like my work-life balance and just trying to avoid stress with things that just may come up, external problems that are out of my control. So stress management is definitely another one, but consistency as far as like being on top of the content I'm putting out for y'all, being on top of making sure I take care of myself and I don't drop the ball because I'm stressed out or things like that. So being consistent and being disciplined as far as like having a set schedule, sticking to the set schedule. Obviously things happen and things might have to shift, but like just learning like, okay, like even though this happened, like let's move a little bit of things around so that we can still do the shit that we have to do or things that we want to do in order to take care of ourselves and make ourselves feel good. And one last thing would probably be like getting more comfortable with myself and being more confident, like working on my confidence. I feel like as I get older, my confidence goes up, and I think, having to be in front of a camera all the time, at first made me kind of self-conscious at times. But I feel like I said, like putting care into myself and being intentional with like the outfits I put on or how I style my hair and things like that, like that gives me confidence. Like when I feel good, when I look good, I feel good. So I just want to be more intentional with, again, the self-care. I also want to pick up a new skill, right? Or like really hone in on a skill that I've wanted to do or maybe started and haven't really like gone all in on. Whoa. So right now, a skill that I'm really trying to master is editing. Like I want to be a master at editing by the end of 2026. So when I look back and watch this a year from now, we're going to see how good of a master I am. Well, y'all going to see too, right? So y'all are going to see it in the clips that I post and the episodes. But yeah, that's definitely something I want to master. And a colleague of mine told me yesterday, like if you apply 1% towards a skill that you want to achieve or learn every day, you should be a master by the end of the year. So that's something I'm definitely going to apply going into 2026. That's something I've been, I study all the time on like different techniques and what editing software is the best and how can I make my videos look like this and how can I, so that's something I definitely want to do going into the next year, just applying 1% consistency and effort every day towards getting better at that skill of editing. That's one skill I think I'm just going to bring up here. There's other things I want to work on personally, but that's definitely one thing. I want to see how much that improves by next year. Some albums that I want to take with me into 2026, I think would have to be, for sure, Cowboy Carter. I played the fuck out of that album this year. Cowboy Carter. And Bird's Eye by Raven Lenae. Oh my gosh. if y'all haven't listened to Bird's Eye yet, you need to drop whatever you're doing after you listen to this or watch this after, and get in tune with some Raven Lenae. That Raven Lenae Bird's Eye album. All her albums are dope, right? But that album was just chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Like, she really did her big one with the album. Even the videos, like, she really ate down with the concepts. And the album before that is Hypnose, and she kind of starts off on like a Hypnose vibe, and then it goes into this new era that she's stepping into, which is Bird's Eye, and it's just beautiful. I would definitely say one last album I would take with me into 2026 is that Young, Gifted, and Black Aretha Franklin album. It's not new, obviously, but I really liked it. I liked the messaging, and I just loved how it sounded, and it was something I had never really heard on my own. I found it vinyl shopping one day. Didn't hear anything off of it beforehand except maybe one song, Holy Moses, and I brought it home and I fell in love with it. The album is definitely the era I think it embodies the next era that I'm stepping into, right? Like Young, Gifted, and Black. That's all y'all gonna feel. Y'all gonna feel young. Y'all gonna feel that I'm gifted. Y'all gonna feel that I'm black. And then y'all gonna feel that I'm giving no fucks in 2026. Don't Tap the Glass. Ooh, that's another good one. That's another really good project that came out this year. He did his big one. Even the messaging behind why he wanted to do that project, why he was inspired to do that project. He said, niggas is not dancing in the clubs no more. Y'all niggas need to go in the club and shake some ass. Shake that culo. Shake that culo. And yeah, everybody just goes to the club and they want to record what the fuck is going on, and they want to look cool. They want to be the biggest shot callers and the biggest ballers in the club, and nobody wants to go to the club and actually have fun. I'm not huge on clubbing, but when I go outside, I want to have a good time. I want to, you almost called me. I want to have fun. So yeah, Don't Tap That Glass is definitely a project I think that radiates not giving a fuck and just doing shit for you regardless of who's watching or who's not. So guys, this is the last word of the day of 2025. And this word of the day is going to be release. So release any and all fears. Release anything that doesn't serve you, that doesn't align with who you are or who you want to become in this next year. Release people, relationships that don't respect who you are, who you're becoming, and who you see yourself being in the future. Release any negative habits, negative patterns, negative thinking. Release people pleasing. Release unequally yoked friendships, relationships. Just release anything that no longer is doing it for you. And I want this to be a big year for all of us. So do it. Relax, relate, release. So guys, before we close this time capsule, I want to ask y'all one last question. Y'all know I always got a question for y'all. So the last question of the year. What is something that you want future you to be proud of going into 2026? So when we go back next year and we reflect on how 2026 went for us, what is one thing that you want your future self to be proud of? So you guys can drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching. Or if you don't feel comfortable, you can always DM me. My DMs are always open for y'all. And yeah, so we're putting a lock and we're closing this episode of the last episode of 2025. And we're putting all our hopes, all our fears, and every little thing that we want to reflect and look back on into this time capsule. And a year from now, we'll watch it together. And we'll see how much we've grown and changed and evolved. Thank you so much for rocking with me. As always, you guys can keep up with me at Rai Rozay. That's with 2 I's and 2 Y's. And follow the podcast page at TMOGZ Podcast for all updates and all things TMOGZ. We're coming at you not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, going into the new year. Yeah, so when you guys see this, it'll be right before the new year, but the next episode comes out right after New Year. So I'm super excited. And yeah, I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is happy and healthy and doing well and feeling blessed. And I hope you guys enjoy your holidays together. And I hope everyone enjoys their new year. So happy new year, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.